The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on November 8th, 2020, in the mental week under the constellation Scorpio, examining through the root chakra, me. Whenever I have the opportunity to see the sculpture of Laocoon and his sons devoured by serpents, a strange feeling invades me that distances me from the story that narrates this fact and leads me to think of something more metaphysical than me. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. I am. What is the story? Me. Laocoon was the high priest in Troy, a famous kingdom on the northwest shore of Anatolia in the Aegean Sea. The story of his ending is what everyone still knows. The prince of Troy, Paris, falls in love with Helena, the daughter of the Greek king, an impossible love which makes Helena decide to leave with Paris. The Greek king had asked for his daughter to return, or he would start a war against the Trojan peoples. But they decided to respond in the name of love, and there was no other choice but to advance against Troy, a story from which we all know Homer's Iliad. Despite the efforts of the Greeks, Troy seemed to win. Then Calchas, a fortune teller, had an idea. Feen surrendered by delivering an offering to the city, a wooden horse, but inside it would hide the Greek soldiers who would open up the gates of the city to the army from within. Laocoon was the only one who shouted in front of everyone a warning of the trap, supported by his sons. But then 2 sea serpents sent by Athena devoured them in front of everyone, which made it clear that Laocoon seemed to be wrong. They entered the horse, and well, the rest everyone already knows. I am. This is a myth, and what is the truth of the story? Me, I suppose that the advance of the Persians on the Hittite territory in Anatolia caused insecurity in the Aegean peoples, and all the Hellenist Greeks decided to create a barrier and defend the eastern islands of the Bosphorus Channel. So there was no choice but to try to take those lands to defend their interest and security. Laocoon was perhaps warning that the Greeks claimed to bring security when in fact they planned to keep the territory. It's like what promises to do us good but ends up being precisely what hurts us. I am like eating sugar and flour. It fills your stomach, but it makes you feel happy, but it also poisons you. Me, yes. Everything we consume in the world today is like the Trojan horse of the Greeks. Everything is dressed as something that does good but ends up doing us harm. When I see Laocoon and his sons, I feel that sensation. Like, what did he mean? Hey, beware! This can go wrong. But he himself was devoured by what he said, and therefore no one believed him and everything went wrong. I am. Do what I say, not what I do. Me, yes. Beyond the history, the myth, the fact that it explains a war situation, the perfect sculptural work of Agasindoro, Polydoro, and Antenodoro de Rhodes some 2,000 years ago, something very personal and metaphysical continues to awaken in me, as if the artist would have summed up the history of each human dying from the bite of their own internal poisonous creatures. The detailed face of suffering of the 3 characters show the pain beyond the attack, but having lost faith and being defeated by the same gods they worship, betrayed by the same people they tried to defend, consumed by their own beliefs, emotions, and actions. I am. In history, many philosophers, heroes, leaders, and teachers have been poisoned, reminding us in mythology and fact that in the most cases, the first poison is created from within. Me, what is that poison? I am. Are you ready to know what poison means? Me, I guess so. I am. Poison, venom, is known to be a corrosive and destructive chemical compound of life that paralyzes and leads to death. It is a defense weapon of many creatures, such as the snake, the spider, the scorpion, who have these toxins to defend themselves or to paralyze their victims and eat them with ease. Thus, the word has for us a negative and destructive connotation of life. However, you will see the paradox when you know that poison is the origin of the word Venus. Me, the Roman goddess of love? I am. Exactly. And do you know why? Me, clearly not. I am, because poison comes from the Indo-European wen, which means love. What? I am. What you hear, it seems incongruous, right? Me, absolutely, but I don't understand why. I am. The very word poison gave rise to the word venerate. Venus and veneration are similar because one venerates what one loves, what one admires, venerates gods, peoples, couples, lovers, objects, places. But the Venetian is not only related to pure love, but to all kinds of love, sensuality, sexuality, possession, attachment, the tender, the cardinal, the taboo. Tenderness and pure virginity are represented by the deer in Spanish, a word that also comes from wen. But in its darkest aspect, it also gives rise to the term venal, and venal refers to all that is sinful, lustful, carnal errors of blood, that which is unforgivable. The concept makes us see the negative aspect of poison, which destroys. For ancient cultures, there was no such thing as good and evil in an external way. Rather, evil was interpreted as the person's internal poison. The same blood that we carry inside can give life or destroy us inside. In this way, life and love can also be understood as death and hate, and since they are not external opposites but internal expressions. Me, you create your own poison from what you love? I am. Tell me, what really started the Trojan War? Me, Paris, because of his love for Helena. I am. And tell me, how did you find Helena? Me, looking for the most beautiful, looking for the true love? I am. Now, who was capable of giving him that love? Me, the goddess of love, Aphrodite, Venus? I am. And do you remember how it is that Aphrodite gives such a woman's love to Paris? Me, oh, I already remember the apple of discord. I am. Eros, the god of dispute, created a beautiful apple destined for the most beautiful in the world, which was awarded to both Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. To get it out of dispute, they decided to have a third party give their opinion and to make the decision. And they chose our friend Paris from Prince of Troy. The three offered these things to Paris: power, wisdom, and love, respectfully. And Paris chose love. So Aphrodite kidnapped Helena, the most beautiful woman in the world, for him. Me, love was the poison that started the war. I am. In the ancient interpretation, the sacred trinity that every human must recognize is will, wisdom, and love, the three goddesses. The apple of discord is in the constant dispute that the individual makes to debate between what they will put in as the main motive of their lives. The power, the will of Hera, gives the capacity for action, manifestation, pragmatism, and the realization of all of the objectives in life. The wisdom and mental strategy of Athena leads to a calculating mind without emotions, which can see all the future movement, giving understanding in existence and glory in consciousness. Aphrodite's love encompasses all emotions, the feeling of the fullness in life, the unity of all things, and in turn, all of the comforts and pleasures of human life. Humans usually choose Aphrodite because her gift is immediate, pleasant, and related to the idea of happiness so sought after. But feeling love without having inner power makes us live for others, destroying our own lives. To love without wisdom is to live in disorder, since energy does not have a specific direction. Just as power without love makes you selfish, wisdom without love makes you frivolous and calculating. The power without wisdom makes you a tyrant, and the wisdom without power makes you useless. It is the Holy Trinity. But nevertheless, love turns every emotional and energetic base that mobilizes your wisdom and will into fuel or poison. Thus, for the ancients, poorly administered love is the poison of the soul. Wow, it makes sense. As in a snake or a scorpion, the same thing that saves their life is what can kill them. They carry within themselves the death sentence of others and of themselves if they do not know how to administer the doses. Everything is based on harmony, coherence, and knowing how to use inner power in a balanced way. We all carry a poison inside of us because we all have mismanaged love energy. And how would that be? Jealousy, control over the other, attachment, punishment, projections, emotional manipulation, both sexual and drug addictions, rage, resentment, hatred, pain, desire for revenge. All of this is poison that once was love. How do I make my poisons pure love again? You must first accept that the poison exists in you, that the Kundalini serpent is not flowing in your favor, and that it has wrapped itself around your wrist, biting your sacrum as it happens to the Laocoon. Then you must identify what it is that the poison is corroding in your life. Thus, you must identify since when you live it. When was the first time or circumstance in which you felt it? And there you will discover that it was born from a failed love, that is, from something that did not meet your expectations of feeling happiness. You expected to feel, and something stopped you, and a thought, an idea, a belief, a situation, an emotion, a circumstance. Something changed, and it didn't turn out the way you expected, leaving a void that needed to be filled with something, and that something became your poison. It sinks you toward the dark and dirty waters of the subconscious. I understand then that poison is poorly administered love, and that when people say, we have eliminated that poison, or he is a poisonous person, or he swallows his own poison, and all those phrases, that they have to be rethought, recognizing that we ourselves have created that poison to defend ourselves from something in which we felt weak due to a lack of love. Just like the snake and the spider and the scorpion, they created the poison in order to supply the tools that they did not have, and in this way they could protect themselves. If the love I seek does not allow me to radiate, then I create the poison to take care of myself. That would be the logic of the body. The mind has created stories and myths that remind us of our greatest regrets. For this reason, the legends are the maps toward psychology. Myth comes from the Greek word mythos and means story. That is, words that become actions. Psychology comes from the Greek psyche, soul, and logos, knowledge. That is to say that the myths are the words that narrate what the soul knows. They should never be taken literally, for the narrators told the stories that only the soul of the poet in love could understand. That is why you now know the story of Laocoon, hid what your soul felt and your mind could not explain, the frustrating look of someone who suffers the betrayal of wisdom and will in the hands of love without awareness or empowerment becomes the soul poison. Now I will look at the sculpture with different eyes, as well as my own weaknesses and poisons. I will put all of my intention into recognizing you, and from there liberate you in consciousness and empowerment, returning love to you again. I am. Meanwhile, humanity will continue to fight over the apple of discord, trying to identify if will, wisdom, or love is the most beautiful thing in life, creating senseless wars, until the day that they see that the three, they are just as beautiful, and that the apple can always be shared.
Mahasaham, Mahasaham.